as far as running it through the trust fund, Tracy, the program does run through the trust fund. And the $6,000 that's been thrown out there, I'm probably the one that threw it out there, that was the loss. That's not what the cost of the program was. That was how much we lost last year. And I can tell you, we've been losing that amount every year for about the past 5 years. So the balance in the trust account that you're talking about is being depleted. For the most part, we've seen a sea change in the way that recreation is provided in this community. We, as the two towns, still have a joint recreation program, but the programs are run by volunteers, as you well know. All of the sporting activities, whether it's soccer, basketball, baseball, softball, lacrosse, football, they're all run now by clubs, by volunteers. We provide limited amount of administrative support through Carol Nauta and our arrangement with the borough for her to split her time between other duties that she has in the borough and providing administrative support to the clubs. And then, of course, both towns maintain the facilities where the sports are played. That's our recreation program now. We also substantially support the seniors. The senior center is on our dime. We provide the facility to them. We provide substantial contribution for their recreation program, which consists of monthly bus trips to Broadway shows and shopping trips and those sorts of things. And we pay for that. They buy their own tickets, but we pay for the bus for those things, to the tune of about $8,000 a year. So we already are doing things beyond just the sports programs. But we don't have a recreation department per se, and the idea of doing new services, we're not doing new services. In this day and age with budget caps imposed by the state, nobody's doing new services. You can't. You're barely able to pay for the ones that you're doing now. So I just felt that it was my initiative and my recommendation to the committee to end the camp because I just didn't think it was viable anymore. We had 116 kids last year. That represented about 80 families, because of course many families had more than one child in the program. And of those 80 families, only about 50 of them were from Chatham Township. We have a population of 10,000 people. So this program was serving a minuscule percentage of our population, but everybody was paying for it. And I felt that at this point it was time to say enough is enough and let's move on. Now, the idea of it being run by volunteers, that's perfectly, people are perfectly capable of doing that. The same way that the sports clubs have organized, if a group of volunteers wants to put together something and call it Southern Boulevard Summer Camp and do it as volunteers and do the registration and collect the money and hire counselors or have volunteer counselors, they're more than free to do that. And I've said, this is I think the third time now, I've said I spoke to Mike LaSousa and Peter Tequila about the availability of the facility if someone wants to take it on, and they said it's available. So have at it. If the volunteers want to try to organize and do it, nobody here is going to stop that or object to that. But we're out of the business.